Well, good morning. Good, beautiful Wednesday morning. This is another day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. It is a beautiful day, and we need to be very aware of the provision that God is giving us in our lives. I want you to be encouraged today when you look at that provision. Today we're going to talk again about the widow. You remember last week that we talked some about the fact that Elijah, there was a little jar of flour and some oil, and Elijah, through the Lord, made that flour and oil not run out for this widow. Now we're going to revisit her in a different situation just a little further on. Let's read verses 23 and 24 out of 1 Kings 17. 1 Kings 17 verses 23 and 24. It says, "And Elijah took the child and brought him down from the upper room into the house, and gave him to his mother. And Elijah said, 'See, your son lives.' Then the woman said to Elijah, 'Now by this I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in your mouth is the truth.'" Now, I want to imagine that just for a second. Here Elijah has been living in this house with the widow and the son, and there is a little jar of flour that is not running out, that she is able to go each day and get the oil and get the flour, and of course there has to be water in there somewhere, and she is making this bread for all three of them out of a little canister of flour that should have already run out. But now her son dies. Her son, it said, the Bible says that the breath was not in him. So her son dies, and she then scolds Elijah. She says, maybe you brought my sin to remembrance, and now my son is dead. So Elijah takes the son into the upper room. He beseeches God, and God revives the son. And we join them here, because Elijah brings the child down out of the upper room. He is revived. He's living again. And the mother then says something interesting. She says, "Now by this I know that you are a man of God." Now, one would think that the belief in God would have been very strong based on the flour, based on the bottle of oil that didn't run out, based on the miracles that she was seeing day in and day out. But it took this miracle for her to utter those words, "Now I know that you are a man of God." And what I want to talk about is that we are much like that in our lives. See, there is the beauty of provision from God in our lives each and every day. But many times, because it is something that is just happening, it is a routine, we fail to really thank God for that provision. We fail to look to God and thank Him for the fact that we woke in the morning, that we could get out of the bed, that we had breath in our lungs. We fail to thank God for the house, the roof that's over our head, for healthy children or grandchildren, or for doctors that are helping unhealthy parents or unhealthy children. We fail to thank God for the wonderful country that we live in. We fail to thank God for the things that, quite frankly, we're taking for granted. And here we see a great example of someone who has miracles happening in her life, and yet she doesn't see them. And God is inviting us. He invites us every day to see His miracles. This is not to condemn anyone or to heap guilt on anyone. This is just to remind us that there are miracles happening in our life every single day. We have miracles that are small miracles. We have miracles that are big miracles. We have visits to doctors that go much better than what we expected them to go. Or we have treatments that are working that weren't expected to work. Or we have provision through resources that we were not expecting. And it's because we are faithful to God. It's because we are being faithful to Him and we are following what He is telling us to do. We are staying in the path. And life can get hard sometimes, and no one denies that. Life can get hard sometimes, but the truth of the matter is that even when life is hard, when we look around, there is provision, and there is love, and there are things that God is giving to us that quite frankly, I know I don't deserve, and I won't speak for anyone else, but that's what I'll say. So I want you to be encouraged today. I want you to be encouraged to sit down and instead of looking for some type of a huge miracle, a huge sign, something coming down in our lives that now we know that God is in our life. Instead, sit back and look at the everyday miracles. Take today and look at the everyday provision that God provides to you. Be thankful for that everyday provision that He gives to you. And I want you to be encouraged because God is there with us. Lamentations tells us that His mercies are new every single morning and that we have an opportunity every time we open up our eyes. And that should give us all hope. I want you to be encouraged today. Know that I pray for you and I know that you pray for me. I know that you are following God and that you are praying for this nation. And I pray for this nation. And I just want us to remember that every day God is providing for us. And the time to be thankful isn't when a big thing happens. Of course, be thankful at that time. But don't wait for the big things. Be thankful in the small things. Be thankful as each and everything in your life provides. Be thankful for the God and to the God that is providing that. I want you to be encouraged today. I love you. I know you love me. And I am praying for you. And I hope you have a great Wednesday.